Okay, I want to address the a statement made by Born Again Barbarian and a few other people across the internet that the Star of David is some kind of perverted symbol, satanic symbol that we worship, some kind of idolatrous symbol. So nobody worships the Star of David. So, number one, what is its appropriate name? The appropriate name of the Star of David, which is on the flag of Israel, is the Magen Ben David. Magen Ben David, not just Magen David, it's Magen Ben David. Okay, so what does Magen mean? It means shield. What is Ben David? It's the son of David. So what is Magen Ben David? It is the shield of the son of David, or aka Mashiach. Okay, so why would Mashiach need a shield? Why would Mashiach need this? Because he's not God. Okay, so that's what Judaism, that's what that star is all about. It's Mashiach, and it's a representation that, we could assume that it's representation that, God is not a man. Mashiach is not God. So he might not like that statement, but that's the truth. Okay, so where does this come from? What is this symbol? How do I know this? So the Star of David is two interlacing triangles opposing each other. And we know that the Proto-Hebrew, or like the older Hebrew script, was the triangle was Dalet, the fourth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So now we have to ask the question, where do we find two Dalets opposing each other? Well, we have a custom. If you know anything about Judaism, we have the mitzvah to put tefillin on our arm and forehead, and it actually spells. So there's a shin that goes on your arm. Some customs have a dalet that goes on your hand and a yod that goes on your finger, and there's also a knot of a dalet on the back of your head. Okay, the straps on the back make a dalet. There's two customs, and this is a clue for this, that what I'm telling you is actually true. There's a custom that it's a single dalet, and there's also a custom that it's a double dalet. So what do we have where there's something for in Hebrew that's related to the name of God that's also another for, or it could be one or the other? And that's in the four-letter name of God, the tetragrammaton. So tetra, like four-letter name of God. So the four-letter name of God, today we say Hashem. We don't say it because it was said in the temple. We don't have the temple, so we don't say the name anymore. What we say in our prayers is Adonai. So we replace, it's a substitution of Yod He Bavav He with Aleph Dalet Nun Yud. So there's something called an octagrammaton. Okay, so we already see that name has like a substitute, right? So just like you have, the switch positions of the triangle in the Magen Ben David. So that's why we have two customs. There's one custom that it's one dalet and one custom that it's two dalets. Okay, so now if you take that, the octagrammaton is where you have the four-letter name of God interlaced. So you have Yod and then Aleph, and then He and then Dalet, and then Vav and Nun, and He and Yod. I think I did that right. So it's the two names of God interlaced, right? And it's an octave because it starts with a Yod and ends with a Yod. So just like the musical notation, you have an octave. It starts and ends and with the same note, but at a different octave, right? So that's where that comes from. That's what that represents. And again, it is Ben David, which means Mashiach, which means who is the shield of Mashiach? It's Hashem. It's God is not a man. It's a complete symbol that we believe that Mashiach is not God. I mean, it's not the purpose of it, but that's something you can derive the meaning from. But anyway, so Born Again Barbarian probably doesn't like that, but obviously that's what he's going to have to do. And if he doesn't like that symbol, so we're not prohibited from having a symbol. We're prohibited from making images of created things. We're not prohibited from having symbols. Okay, so symbols, in this case, if he wants to throw that symbol out, then he needs to throw out the A, the B, the C, and everything else in his alphabet because like the A in the alphabet is representation of the head of an ox and everything. I mean, you flip it upside down, obviously. I mean, if you study the alphabet, you'll see that they're symbols. Well, if he wants to throw out all his symbols, he can go and become illiterate and go back to his cave in Alaska. But Judaism is a religion that sees the sanctity of literacy, the holiness of literacy, okay? So there's something attached to it, and it's holiness, right? Because how do you transmit this stuff? So, and I also want to point out, my wife made a very interesting comment, and that's that, obviously this guy, he idolizes the King James Version of the Bible. He idolizes the King James Version of the Bible. And it's very interesting because during the Dark Ages, the Catholic Church, what did they say? Well, we don't want you to read the Bible. We don't want you to have it and read it. We will tell you what it says. Well, guess what the King James Version does? It tells you what the Hebrew says, right? It tells you what the Hebrew says. It's still somebody's authority, and he's just doing the same thing that the Catholic Church did. Oh, you can't know it for yourself. You have to, it's the King James Version. Well, whatever. You can do your thing, buddy. You can become illiterate, throw out every letter in your alphabet because it's idolatry, and you can go back and be a caveman in Alaska. Thank you very much.